Um, I want to thank everybody that has come down, and then the tons of calls that we have received in our office who could not come down. And some people did not want to necessarily show their face, but said that they are taxpayers and had a number of concerns. For those who may not know, as it relates to my own background, this is my industry. I've been in tourism, I've been in marketing, I've actually booked major conventions at the toughest of times. So this is not a question about are you for progress and can you move forward, because my track record is impeccable. At the toughest of times, I got on planes when no one wanted to hear from Cincinnati and booked conventions. When we had the lowest occupancy in history, no one was booking our rooms. They said, what can we do? The Convention and Visitors Bureau before then, the person quit, said, I can't sell this place, it's too tough. I got on planes and said, no, we're not counting Cincinnati out as the vice mayor. During that time, I learned a lot in talking to meeting planners and what are they looking for. And while we want to do beautification, that is not their first priority. They're looking for exhibit space because they want a blank canvas. And so a lot of times you can't even bid on something unless you meet the minimum requirements. So you have to have so much space before they even think about you. I don't care how nice it looks and pretty pictures. If you don't have this many square footage, you're out, and they're going to consider someone else because they bring in their own carpet. They bring in their own exhibits. They go to Geo Fern and rent everything. They go to Prestige and rent the sound. They bring everything in to make it uniquely theirs. So I brought in hundreds of millions of dollars through conventions that I had to go and talk to and beg and plead and convince that it's okay. And the list goes on. And a lot of those conventions are African American conventions. And all of a sudden now, African Americans are in the back of the conversation. We're trying to get 15%. When those NAACPs and the Shriners and Noble Blacks in Law Enforcement, they came in and took a chance on us. So I learned a lot with that, and then I went on to become the deputy director of tourism for the entire state of Ohio, all 88 counties, and got a chance to really understand and bring business to the state. So we start there with my intentions. But as I sit here with that experience of bringing conventions, of booking hotels, bringing money to the area at the toughest of tough times, putting together mega weekends that we never had, but now we do them now, Red Hot Weekend and so many others, even bringing my own college and convincing them to come in tough times. Grambling State to play at the then Paul Brown Stadium, and bringing people from all over the country. And even been seen as one of the top cheerleaders for Cincinnati. That's what they've called it. When I get a deal that's in front of us, what we're looking at is not whether or not we should do an expansion or renovation or hotel. It's about how we do it and how we pay for it. And so what we're voting on today is not the hotel. Hotel is not even involved in this at all. And we started with, we tore down a hotel. 800 rooms, whether you liked it or not, they paid property taxes. So that was revenue. When they say, well, this is just restricted. No, we brought some money in because we had property taxes. We no longer are collecting any property taxes off that property, even though the taxpayers are on the hook for $55 million. It's that we didn't just get the hotel and they handed it to us. It's a $55 million debt that still ain't been paid. And if you ride by there, it's nothing but some grass. That's the only green thing that's over there. And my position is I'm trying to bring in outside money to help reduce the costs on people who live here. Now I'm going to ask if you would put that slide up, because we don't do anything in a vacuum. And many of the people who are here today, I'm sure you will also come back and testify for these other projects. We've got a stadium in about a month or a month and a half. They're supposed to come to us and tell us, Gensler, we've been waiting on them, how much is this stadium going to cost us? And we are responsible for the stadium. We don't own Convention Center, but we do own the stadium, and the county is responsible. I'm so sure some people are going to come in here and say, we got to do this. It's $500 million right now without any bell or whistle. The voters voted for the stadium, but they don't want to pay the 96% because when we got to the details, that's my point. We get out of the that's my point. We get out of the concept and we got to the details. People say, wait a minute, why are we paying 96% of the cost? So we've got a deal that was 20 years ago that we've got to deal with in a month and a half. And I'm sure some people will say, we got to have it. And they do have tourism. They bring fans, they book hotels. Tennessee used some of the restricted funds to take the money off the backs of the local taxpayers. That's how it ties in. So we want to make sure whatever fund we got, we want to maximize and get the best deal. And so that's what I'm here today for. How do we get the best deal? And we got to have flexibility. We can't come in and say, well, no, we can't listen to nothing else. Tennessee used and they getting a brand new stadium. They use what? The hotel motel tax. Number two, I told you about the Millennium and $55 million, and we still are talking about on that space putting something that doesn't make any money. Now, we're unique. Most cities don't have a fountain square that's just 2 blocks down from their convention center. So we already have programming on there. We got music, we've got food trucks. Now we're going to put it right here. It don't make any money. I don't know. Is that the best deal for the taxpayers? That's the question that has to be asked today. Or can that do something else to help me get the $55 million back? That's what the taxpayers would be asking. Of course, you have on here, Duke Energy was first said it was going to be an expansion. So now we find out it's a beautification project for $200 million, but I'm only getting 12,000 more square feet. Does that give me bigger conventions? The answer is no. It doesn't give us, and we're a seasonal place. So in the wintertime, we don't make anything. So does this get me in the game to get more conventions? Sounds good, but the answer is no. Then hanging in the wing, the reason we're here, we tore down a hotel. We told them we're going to tear down, we're going to put you in $55 million worth of debt. We took 800 rooms. We at least got to get 800 back. That's 480 million and counting. And we have today, we're not voting. People came and testified about a hotel. There's no hotel in this. None of this goes to a hotel. So now the taxpayers, we're out here talking about we got a $160 million gap. Well, if I spend up all my money over here in the restricted fund, where do I get this money from? The non-restricted, the general fund? No solid plan. And then, of course, we just had to put in we put in $20 million to get the regional safety complex done. $20 million we had to put in because nobody would come to save us for Lincoln Heights. And that's babies hearing gunshots for over 40 years. And we had to do it. Nobody came to save us. We have some partners that put a few little things, but not $20 million. We just had to add more. We had been holding out to see if somebody else would put some more, but they did not. We had to. Then we're told, well, we can't do a hotel. We got the hotel people telling us, from what I was told, that we can't even do nothing until y'all put in $200 million, and they ain't put in a dime. We have nothing in writing. I have no guarantee that I'm going to get 800 rooms. And that is, but they want us then to also, you got to build us a garage. Now, why did we vote on the garage, putting up $1.9 million to guarantee a garage, and we ain't got no hotel? Now, would somebody do that if they came to you and said, you got to build a garage, but I ain't building your house yet? You wouldn't go with it. And then there's another project that'll be coming. Fort Washington Way, they claim they want that. Then there's an arena. So there'll be the same crowd in here giving the same speech. But we got to look at it in a totality. And yes, I've been a winner. I'm going to be a winner and continue to be a winner. But it's more important for me is I want to win for the taxpayers. We got to have a win-win. Taxpayers can't always keep losing. And then the backdrop of that, you can take that down. The backdrop of that is that the homeowners just got letters to every household mandated by the state of Ohio, not the county, that your property is being reevaluated and your property is going up, which equate to your taxes will go up. Now, how much it will go up, you don't know, but it's going up. And then we're building a bunch of things with government money, government tools, government help that pays no property taxes. But grandma and grandpa getting squeezed. So this is what my thinking is. And it's not just my thinking, it's the people who voted for me, because everywhere I go, they stopping me like crazy. We can no longer do silo projects. Today is convention district. Tomorrow here come a hotel with more money. Then we got Fort Washington Way. They got to have some money for pickleball and soccer on top of there. Then we got to go over here. The Bengals are staring us in the face, and we own that property. Then we got the Reds that's coming up. Who's paying for all this? Who's paying for it? So these are some restricted funds, but some of these restricted funds also can be more leveraged. In this restricted fund, I asked them, can we use it? Can we use, like Tennessee, a portion of this? 1%, maybe 50% of that 1% we go with this, and 50% we hold and see what the with the Paycor Stadium is going to be. And they said, well, you had to give a carve out. FC got a carve out. Well, I'm sure if FC got a carve out, they probably would do a bingo carve out. But let's don't go empty, spend the bank up, and then at the end of the day, the homeowner is the one that's only paying the taxes. Everybody else is getting an abatement. Everything we put together is an abatement. It's government tools. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be down here voting on nothing. If it was all private, they could just do it, and we're not even a part of it. The other thing is hanging in the winds. I don't know which way it's going to go, and I'm not telling people which way to go, but the railroad is hanging out there. If the railroad go in another month, if they own the convention center, that's infrastructure. Couldn't the city didn't have the money to pay for convention center? And then we could use our money toward what we have to do, which is the stadiums. But we're rushing through. We're rushing this through. The hotels even said, let's push their date back to December to even implement it. And I'm like, well, let's take more time to put the pieces on the table. I appreciate my brothers that are here from labor. And I appreciate no matter what the project is, we're going to usually have labor involved. We always have. That's not the issue. The issue is I'm voting on something that does not include the hotel. And we got a $160 million gap. I'm voting on something that does not have any real guarantees. And I appreciate, we did the expansion the first time. Convention Center was one of the first public projects, I was the vice mayor, that ever had inclusion. We had D. Fox at that time on the project. That's 20 years ago. We got sued. I remember because I had to make a choice. Reece, do you keep the African American on the project, or do you kick them off? It was $19 million, I believe, under budget and ahead of schedule. We had just come through the unrest. I said, we keep them on. And we had to pay a little bit. We $18 million under budget. So the fact of having inclusion on the convention center, it's great. We've done it. 15%, we've done it. We did it 20 years ago. Taste of Julia's is inside the convention center, and Scott's Barbecue. We've done it. We've been ahead of the ballroom that everybody wants to talk about. I think we have one of the baddest ballrooms in the country, and I've been to a lot of them. And it was designed by a minority, a woman, I believe, African-American woman. And now we're saying the ballroom looks terrible. So I think that my decision is based on that this resolution is incomplete. It does not include funding for the entire convention district with the hotel. If it had the hotel funding model today, I probably would go different. I'm totally disappointed because it's the first time in my entire career that I've had to vote against a tourism project because it is not complete. The details aren't here. The guarantees are not here. And there's a ton of questions, and when I asked questions, they was getting super, super mad. And we've got a lot of projects with a lot of unanswered questions of how it's going to be paid for and who is going to pay for it. And when I try to look at how do we leverage and stretch and do, there seems to be a lack of interest in compromising, being inclusionary, thinking creatively. It's just hit the gavel. And we're at a disadvantage because as commissioners, I can't go to Commissioner Driehaus and talk behind the scenes and go through all of the components. I can't talk to Commissioner Dumas and go through and all the components. We have to use an interpreter through the administrator to has to try to capture all this. But this is incomplete, and it's not a win for the taxpayers. And so with that, fortunately, I've tried to get to the win. We're not there yet. This should have come as a complete package with the hotel, with the convention, all of that in one package. And the hotel right now, the plan is built on a deck of cards, $160 million. And we hope we can tax everybody that's got a business around there. We hope we can tax the Uber drivers. No one's coming if you do not have a convention hotel. Period. They're not coming. They've said it. And I didn't understand why we couldn't start on the convention hotel and then give a notarized agreement with that we would do convention center if we have a agreement with you that you're getting ready to start this hotel. I don't know why the hotel could come in here and kick us around and tell us, no, y'all spend the $200 million. Y'all go get the garage at $1.9 million. And then, by the way, we got a gap of $160 million. No. You're not going to come in here and kick us around. We got to have a joint agreement. So because it's incomplete, I cannot support it at this time. But hopefully as we move down the road and we can answer more of these type of questions, maybe we can get there. I know there'll be other phases, and I look forward to getting the details. So with that,